Good to see you on. I'm particularly excited for today. We got some really good topics to discuss. Today I have incorporated a few little stories to hopefully go along with them. I'm oddly excited, although I think all the news is bad. I think all the news is bad today. So I think all the news is bad. We're going to discuss the security first. There is one really, really important security vulnerability everyone should be dealing with. And I want to get everyone on dealing with it. Yeah, and then everything else is just kind of there's a good piece. There's a 4.0 of something coming out. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Yeah, there's a 4.0 that I'm of something. There's two good pieces of news. So maybe one's like a half. So like we have 2.5 actually. And then all the rest is just terrible. All the rest is just terrible. You figured it out? Cloudflare has hired Azure front door engineers. Okay. What is it? Cloudflare has had 3 outages in the last, 2 months? It's a particularly bad bit of luck right now for them. And I really do hate to see it because they do such a good job generally. But you know, it used to be that Cloudflare went down when their primary power went offline and their secondary power backfed into the primary grid and locked them out of the data center, right? Like, it used to be stuff like that brought Cloudflare down, where you're just like, oh, wow. And obviously you should have had those critical systems and other data centers, and you didn't, but still, I mean, like, it was extraordinary circumstances. And the last couple of times it's been like, definitely like just human mistakes. Like, I'm not saying I would have done better, but that's why I don't work at Cloudflare. Yeah, it seemed a little bit rough. How's your week gone so far? Hopefully well. Hopefully well. Let me see if I'll go ahead and get started. I was just giving some people a little bit of time. To get in here. You've not yet been affected by React 2 Shell? Excellent. That is actually what we're going to talk about first. I actually have an important addendum to it because I've seen places release proof of concepts, and you should not use those proof of concepts to prove that you're not affected by it. They're not all correct. I'll get into that. Basically, the people that discovered it haven't released one. See, now I'm getting into it. I can't even keep a secret. I'm zero tolerance at keeping a secret. The people that haven't released the proof of concept on how to do it yet, specifically so people had time to patch it. Hot swap sockets. Yeah. I would imagine, like, generally you're just adding another wear point, another thing. I'm not saying that it can't be made stronger. Just that doesn't surprise me, is what I'm saying. You put a 3 new quick. Which ones are you getting? If you don't mind sharing. Keyboards. Not actually sharing your keyboard, but sharing which ones you're getting. I don't particularly care if somebody wants to use my keyboard. I don't think that they would. It's all macro keyed up at this point, so like it would be interesting. My son tried to use it, and that did not go very well. Oh, is the ortholinear a build project that you're doing? Is this the one that you got? This right here. Just it looks like a slick keyboard, though, to be fair. I don't know that I could do those keycaps. Like, a topographical map is fine. I can do topographic map, just not a chaotic topographical map on my keyboard. I believe I believe that's a little rough. Oh, nice. 42 pounds? Nice. So it doesn't come with keycaps. Interesting. Okay. Nice. So you get to kind of build it out. You just buy the base. Right. We all probably have enough. I had any keyboard that dies, I take the keycaps from or the switches and the keycaps out of. So like I also have enough MX Cherry Browns that I would not need another set. This looks like a cool keyboard. I like it. It's minimal, but not like super minimal. So it's kind of clean. Nice. Let me know how you like it. Let me know. All right. Let's jump into the news. Welcome, everyone. Another day, another node, npm, React, security vulnerability. Today, I need your full attention. We've just been surviving SHA-1, Halud, or I just call it Shah Halud, and just previous before that, Shai Halud, and there was a few other minor attacks. I'm going to say minor. We can talk about that in between that, but at this point in your careers, your npm front-end web security has to be of the utmost priority. And today, or a couple days ago, we had what is now being called the log, or it's being called the next log4j, or the log4j event for the React community. And I say React, but this is also Next.js. So if you use either one of those, please pay attention because it's very important. If you log in, you'll see this important security advisory here. It is very important. Muy grande important. I can't speak Spanish, so don't listen to me. It is very important. Please go ahead and follow through with reading it. There is a lot of information here on Next.js that is going to help you. And very specifically, what I want to point out is the thing that's going to help you is the versions that you want to upgrade to. So there's going to be these fixed versions. These are what you want to deploy. And this is the only viable way to see if you're patched. And the reason I say it's the only viable way to see if you're patched is because the people that actually discovered it, the people that did the research, released this, a note on scanners. We've seen some great scanners from the likes of Asset Note, which are very effective at detecting unpatched Next.js instances that use server components. However, there is another nuance that we'd like to highlight. The day zero protections from some providers are actually a runtime level and not just WAF rules. So many customers with theoretical vulnerable versions are, to our knowledge, still protected. All right. And then the update on a note of proof of concepts. We've seen a rapid trend of proof of concepts spreading, which are not genuine proof of concepts. Anything that requires the developer to have explicitly exposed dangerous functionality to the client is not a valid proof of concept. Common examples we've seen in supposed proof of concepts are VM hashtag run this context child process exec and fs write file. This would only be exploitable if you had consciously chosen to let clients invoke these, which would be dangerous no matter what. The genuine vulnerability does not have this constraint. In Next.js, the list of server functions is managed for you and does not contain these. Many of these proof of concepts have been referenced in publications and even some vulnerability aggregators. We are concerned that these may lead to false negative, which when evaluating if a service is vulnerable, or lead to unpreparedness if or when a genuine proof of concept surfaces. So their recommendation is to read React and Next.js's write-ups on it, which are these, which gives you very, very specific versions to be on. Now, they did come out with this right here, that this asset note seems to be a decent one, so you could leverage it. I worry because one of the things that this is actually talking about here is that things like Cloudflare automatically started trying to detect this bad behavior and filtering it for you, which means that some of those runtime protections might make you think that you're safe when you're not actually, because these scanners actually just scan through the open web like you might expect an attacker to do. And when that happens, what they're worried about is that you might be getting your network traffic filtered by, Cloudflare, and that you're not actually as protected as you think. So my recommendation is their recommendation. I recommend you go here and you scan your code base. Hopefully you already have a way to detect what packages and what versions are being deployed. And if you do, you need to deploy this. Now I have checked at this point, Dependabot is recommending this. So Dependabot should be your friend here. But that one is generally free for most people with open source projects. So you should be leveraging that. You need to make sure that it's deployed is the next thing. Now, hopefully you know what you have deployed and know what versions are deployed. And you need to make sure that the version that is running in production is patched. Do you know what? I love Cloudflare. I love Azure Front Door. I don't actually love Azure Front Door. And I know that those people are working very hard to filter out those issues before they hit your server. But the thing is, you don't want to just depend on that. This is layers of security. My recommendation is this is great. Make sure what you have deployed is correct, because maybe they don't actually catch everything. It's very difficult to know. It's very difficult to know because, anyways. That being said, they haven't released one yet. They haven't released their proof of concept, which has 100% success rate of remote code execution on your infrastructure. 100% success rate. That means there is no, try to get this request while this request is in this certain function. There's none of that. It's very straightforward, easy to actually do. It took exactly, half a day for a decent proof of concept based off of a very loose write-up. A very, actually, update. I didn't even see this one. I've now shared my proof of concept. So now you have the original proof of concept since within 30 hours. So here's the original proof of concept. There we go. Breaking news. All right. So if you're wanting to use one, use this one. But I wouldn't just do that. I would check your versions that are in production. Very serious. Now, I've been watching Shah Halud over the weekend, or over the week and the weekend. As far as I can tell, it seems to be winding down. It seems to be contained. Now, it's very hard with these because there were so many credentials stolen. When do they find a new one to upload a package and leverage this attack again? This is why you need protections in place right now. But the current Shah Halud seems to be winding down, Shah Halud version 2.0, and seems to be contained. I would call my non-professional advice here is that the containment is done at this point. So hopefully it is, but like I said, be careful. I would never use a package that is less than 2 days old. That's just a ground rule at this point of using NPM. If the package is more than 2 days old, don't use it and pin all your dependencies. Except for this package. Use this package the same day. The same day. All right. Now, a lot of you are asking, Merrick, you said Next.js took down Cloudflare. And I did. Cloudflare tried to do something very good. Cloudflare has had a very, very bad couple of weeks. This is not Cloudflare's first. It's not Cloudflare's second. It's Cloudflare's third outage in not even as many months. We're talking 3 outages in 2 months, I believe it is. Now, I have been a person that has stood out and defended Cloudflare quite a few times because they usually do really solid work. Usually when you hear of a Cloudflare outage, it's because their main power source, the grid goes down, their backup generators fail to fire, they get locked out of the data center, and it was their main data center that had a single centralized resource that they didn't expect to go down, and that's why Cloudflare goes down. That's the type of thing that we've gotten accustomed to, and the last quarter has been really, really rough. They have had multiple outages. This one was only 21 minutes, but it was yet another outage in Cloudflare. So if you don't remember the other 2 outages that happened, one was where they basically DDoSed themselves. they used React, and React allowed them to DDoS themselves. And so one of their deployments actually DDoS themselves by calling themselves so many times. The other one, which a self DDoS is kind of feels like something I would do, honestly. One of those things I'd be proud of doing is DDoSing myself. But the other one that they had was a misconfiguration of their bots where they had duplicate records and basically just brought down, basically denied all access to their services. And this next one is maybe equally as bad. They were rushing to do something good. They were taking this very real threat to your React and Node.js environments, or React and Next.js environments. And React and Next.js have the large majority of the internet's front ends. Let's be clear. So this is the majority of people out there are affected by this. And they were trying to make sure you were protected. So on one side, I really love what they were doing here. Basically saying if you used Cloudflare, you weren't vulnerable to this. But at the same time, 25 minutes, roughly 25 minutes of total impact. I said 21. But at the same time, 25 minutes of impacted resources is not really acceptable for that. So we can read it. I'm gonna release this to you guys. Let's see. Oh, I did not copy that right. Now, they do make it very clear this issue was not caused directly or indirectly by a cyber attack on Cloudflare's system or malicious activity of any kind. Instead, it was triggered by changes being made to our body parsing logic while attempting to detect and migrate a industry-wide vulnerability disclosed this week in React server components. So basically, they were trying to make it so that you weren't vulnerable to React server components because they were pretty sure a lot of their customers weren't going to patch fast enough. And yeah. This is 100% the Azure front door handbook to security. You see a security problem, you slam that front door close and bolt it shut. You make sure that no traffic gets through because the best security is air-gapped. And that's what Cloudflare did. They air-gapped your system so that there was no security concern. These 28% of all of their traffic was 100% secure from a network attack. So anyways, I'm not going to dive through and walk through all of this. Honestly, I haven't had the time to go through the whole thing. They usually do very good follow-ups and postmortems on why they had errors. And this is what garners so much trust from Cloudflare. So I recommend they still do it because even though they've had a terrible quarter with 3 outages, I still trust them because of this response, because of how they handle it and deal with it. And so I actually think many companies should look, especially cloud providers that are B2B, they sell to businesses. This is the way you want to do it because this builds trust, especially when you're looking to be trusted by other huge industry leaders, unlike Azure Front Door. So anyways, you run React, you run Node.js, you need to go update right now. Moral of the story. I mean, like right now. Like this weekend, don't wait for Monday. Hopefully you have some way to call incidences. You need to call one right now, get the people on call to help you, and go patch your services before watching the rest of this. You can have it on in the background. Or turn them off. Yeah. Just turn your services off. Shut your servers down. That is a viable solution if you're Microsoft. The no nines uptime. We're going to do I forget. I was in a meeting with somebody and they were talking about how many nines. And I feel like there was like somebody asked for like some ridiculous number of nines of uptime. I'm gonna throw out a figure of like 7. And I looked at them and I was like, look, I can do 7/8 of uptime if you like. I could even go to 9/8 of uptime. But 7 nines is so many nines. I can do the 8s. Vastly different number of vastly different amounts of uptime. We can almost take an entire day off every single week. We could be down. I do like the statement, the Azure front door handbook to security. That's pretty fantastic. Yeah, it's like a second a year of outage. The 7 nines is it's more than that. It's like a second a month, I believe. 1 second. SLA calculator. 7 nines is we'll see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 seconds yearly. I'm sorry. 3 seconds yearly. 3 seconds. 3.2 seconds. Which means basically to have this many nines of uptime, you consume your uptime by hiccups in API requests. You know, this is all consumed in microseconds of hiccups. So you could basically have no outages. Yeah. Anyways, we can get into ridiculous things you've had to say no to in your career. That should be a book. Where you break out laughing in a meeting, and then the person looks at you and they're like, "Why are you laughing?" And I was like, "Oh, I thought you were joking. I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were. I thought that was a legitimate joke that you were like, we should just do 7 nines." I laughed. Yeah. Anyways, 4 nines is a lot. 4 nines is a lot. All right. We have another topic. This one's a little doom and gloomy, and I'm sorry for it. We have a few of those today. We have a few. Let me laugh even harder. I don't know that I've watched Spider-Man, so maybe I need to do that. The only thing I know is with great responsibility. That's the only. With great power comes great responsibility. That's the only thing that I know from Spider-Man, and I'm not even sure we're talking about the same Spider-Man. There's been like 6 since that one. With great power comes great AI companies. Oh no. Oh no. Tell you what. I am so. We don't need to get it. I was just gonna say that I was so angry with our politicians and how they've regulated AI data centers. Basically, they're putting the onus on the customers, the people buying power on the grid to pay for the electricity of the data center. I just absolutely unexcusable to get the data center in their state for some reason. I just for example, I have solar now. I have solar because it makes sense. In Kentucky, we never touched solar because the payoff was 40 years. Electricity was that cheap. Ohio, on the other hand, has full-heartedly adopted AI data centers, and their electricity is so expensive. Even here in the north, where we're mostly cloudy, solar pays off in 6 years. 5 years if you don't get a battery. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Makes me so angry. And I said I wasn't going to get into it. But you triggered me, Russell. You triggered me because that is 100% what they do. We are in an ad break. Maybe we should wait. It's always your fault, Russell. You talked about power at AI companies, and then I thought AI companies consuming ridiculous amounts of power. I think you were thinking about like the power of. I don't think you were talking about like electrical power, but that's how I read it. And then it's not your fault. It's not your fault. I'm just angry with Ohio leadership. That's all. No, it was a good one. It was a good one. You know, like part of me is like, fine, I have solar and that's cool, and I'm more self resilient. But there's a lot of people that couldn't make that decision, that are, you know, because it's a hefty upfront cost, and that are paying the brunt of the AI data center fever. And what's worse, what really, really makes me angry is, let's say that there's a huge bubble that pops and it just bursts, and these companies go under and these data centers go unused. It doesn't even matter. Like, the power price won't come down because we're paying for the expansion of all of the stuff for that capacity. And so in the end, that won't even make the price of electricity go down anymore, because we've got to maintain that. The new power plants are being built. They are built. Like there's so many issues with it. It just makes me a little angry. But it's all right. I tend to try to stay away from politics. I might talk about local politics every once in a while, or make somebody fun of some egregious things. But anyways, welcome back. This next bit is a little bit sad. This is something that has been in the works since August 3rd, 2025. I want to take you back in time to this post. Developers reinvented. Now, I say that this was a super tone deaf post to make. If you guys don't know who Thomas Dormach, I don't know, it's probably Thomas. You never know how to pronounce it because you have to know where they were born. It's probably Thomas, but this person, never met them, CEO of GitHub. Now, they made a vital shift in the company, in GitHub as a whole. And when they said reinvent yourself in this post, they really meant we're reinventing GitHub around AI. GitHub is no longer around Git. It's not focused on Git like its name. It is focused around AI. So it's more like AI Hub that happens to have a Git feature. Now, there was speculation about what this means and how well the platform is supported as a whole. And through the years since 2025, so, not yet a year, there has been comments that the platform has suffered. It feels like it's been more than a year. Does it feel like it's been more than a year? I felt like this was 2024. It feels so long ago that this happened. Okay. Anyways, I found a great Reddit post that basically highlights some of the highlights that 90% of AI writing 90% of their code. They thought it was likely within 5 years. Some thought it was likely within 2 years. We're tending to see optimism and realism as opposing mindsets, but the developers we heard from had intriguing blend. Those are some of the highlights. But what I wanted to point out is GitHub has obviously been very, very much focused on AI. And has that been for better or for worse? Now, I know I have heard from a lot of the employees, they're tired of it. They want to work on real problems that actually help people. And they're not being able to because their directors are rewarded for the number of AI features. Their directors are pushed to do that. So middle management is rewarded to do that. And thus, middle management isn't giving any time to handle any of the real things. It has to have the word Copilot in it. And I know that their employees are tired of it just as much as you are tired of getting Copilot shoved down your throat. But so far, the status quo hasn't really changed until this last week. What I wanted to point your attention to was this post, not this post. Why is that post here? This post. SafeSleep.sh rarely hangs indefinitely. Very rarely on update of GitHub Action Runner, SafeSleep.sh hangs forever. I expect it may happen sometimes if machines run in cloud and is overloaded and or overcommitted. To reproduce, download the runner, register the runner, runner updates itself, and it takes a time. Update should not hang indefinitely. So this started back in April 7th and basically got no traction. There was actually a lot of feedback, and the problem was identified relatively quickly. It was this function, Safe Sleep. Now, why they had Safe Sleep at all, and why didn't they just use sleep, we could talk about. This was probably written so that it would work on Windows and things like that, but it's actually fairly easy to understand how this would hang. If you don't know, seconds is a magic variable in Bash that when set, it automatically starts counting up. And this is the first argument. Now, if the first argument is set incorrectly or it doesn't equal it perfectly, it will hang forever. Not only this, but it never allows execution to go back to the process. So basically what this does is it will consume a thread 100%. It's pretty bad, but it could have been a junior developer and an overworked senior that reviewed it that might not have thought about it. But it's fairly easy. I'm not a Bash expert, but you and I can see this pretty quickly and pretty easily if we're actually thinking about what this function does. It will consume a thread it's not sleeping. There's no sleep here. It will consume a thread indefinitely. And so this happens if it's overworked. So one, if the first argument is misset, if it's set to 0, 5 or a string or something like that, there's no check for that, and so it will hang indefinitely on that. But it's also will hang indefinitely if the scheduler takes more than a second for the next loop. So an overworked machine will have this happen because an overworked machine will have it will skip a second, right? So if you put 5 seconds and it goes 4 seconds, and then the next time it runs, it's at 6 seconds, you have missed it, and now it will hang indefinitely. This is the bug. It's actually a super simple fix. It actually was fixed now. I would argue that this isn't a perfect fix, but this fixes the indefinite hang. You still consume a thread. You still consume a thread the entire time that this safe. 1 second. This will still consume your thread for the entire time that it's. Sorry, there was just a spammer in my chat. They're like so immediately took me out. I was like, squirrel. Okay. This will still consume your thread, but it's actually better. It won't do it permanently. Basically, if it misses the second, if it goes from 4 to 6, this will handle that just fine. And because of that, this fixes the problem. Now you'll notice that it was merged. So what's the problem? Well, the problem was that all of this happened back on April 7th, quite a while ago. And you'll notice there is a ton of discussion around this. People found the bug, people fixed the bug, opened a PR. And if you go down here, where is it? It wasn't until way down here that it got merged last week. Kind of silently. After this gathered so much publicity, we're talking 200 hearts on huge, like, okay, one, let's give a shout out to these people that were digging into this to such depth. First off is Christoph. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he streams on Twitch. I haven't actually watched. He does a lot of Zig. If you're interested in Zig, go check him out. I don't actually know them very well, so like that's go check him out. Zig, very smart person because he wrote Zig, so much smarter than myself. And Christoph is one of the people that found it, and this is going to be interesting to note as we go along. So Christoph Imlug did a ton of research on this, found all the problems with it. Why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about this sleep? Well, it took forever, and it took the entire community coming down on GitHub, and then in the end, it took 9 months to accept a PR like this. 9 months, and basically community outrage. Well, there's also the FreeBSD support issue. Now, so this is another issue that the Zig community had. The Zig community had an issue with FreeBSD, and it isn't available from Microsoft. Now, I actually understand why Microsoft doesn't support this. I'm not defending Microsoft as a whole. I am defending this piece. Microsoft can't have a FreeBSD runner because of its licensing. Like, at the end of the day, you'll never get a FreeBSD runner from Microsoft because of its licensing. They cannot provide that due to legal reasons. So there are things with this one where I get it that it sucks, especially if you want a free BSD runner. But their hands are a little bit tied. So this one, I get that it sucks, but I'm not sure that there's a whole lot of that Microsoft could do. That's just it. Now, I did ask ChatGPT this right here. What does this script do? And I gave it this script. It's a busy wait timer. It called it. Busy wait means that it doesn't release its thread. It will continue there to thrash the thread. So you can't even say this was vibe coded. This was just poorly reviewed. Now, why do I say all this? Well, my understanding is that Zig is moving to Codeberg. Zig is abandoning GitHub. Now, will they continue to use it as a mirror so you can clone it from there? I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't see any statement on that. I think you can still get it. Can you still get it from there? GitHub.com. Let's see. It's not mirrored. Okay. Yeah. So the repository is not mirrored. It is fully on Codeberg at this point for these reasons. Just a moment of silence, a spontaneous moment of silence. I kind of lost my thought process. One thing I wanted to point out here, I gave you guys this, was the GitHub sponsors. So if you've been sponsoring Zig and you want to continue sponsoring the Zig, they are moving forward to every.org. So you need to move your sponsorship to every.org, which is a nonprofit organization in itself. This actually probably means, I don't know this, I'm not a tax lawyer, but usually nonprofits in the US, you can get some sort of tax write-off. So you might look into that. But needless to say, if you're wanting to continue supporting them financially, you should look at moving. They are still accepting GitHub sponsors as far as I know, but they are stopping their perks. So you're not going to get any of your perks, which most people that do it probably don't care anyways about the perks. And I'm guessing that they'll remove it entirely at some point. So the effective immediately, he has made Zig on GitHub read-only, and the canonical origin master branch on the Zig project repository is here on Codeberg. Thank you for Forjo. Contributors help us with our issues switching to the platform, as well as the Codeberg folks who worked with us on the migration. In the end, we opted for a simple strategy, sidestepping GitHub's aggressive vendor lock-in, leave the existing issues open and unmigrated. So basically any issue that's open on GitHub's side, if it's really important to you, you need to migrate it yourself. But start counting issues at 30,000 on Codeberg so that all issue numbers remained unambiguous. Let us please consider the GitHub issues open that remain open as metaphorically copy on write. Please leave all your existing GitHub issues and pull requests alone. No need to move your, no need to move your stuff to Codeberg. Oh, like your pull requests. They did a copy on write. No need to move your stuff over to Codeberg unless you need to make edits, additional comments, or rebase. We're still going to look at already open pull requests and issues. Don't worry. So basically, the open ones got copied on write, and they're there, and no need to update unless if you need to actually go and make changes to your pull request. I never get a pull request accepted on the first pull. You're probably better than me. So go ahead and do that. So anyways, I'm sure that people in the community already know, but this happened. Do you think this is, my question here, do you think this is the first of many? Do you think we're going to see more open source projects do the same thing? Or do you think that maybe this is just a one-off? Do you think that GitHub Actions is just a hiccup? Or that the platform as a whole is going to be maintained less and less? I think these are the questions that you have to ask yourself in this. And then you've got to actually look at what other options do you have that are better? Something like Codeberg looks nice, but it lacks a lot of the features. It's easy to say that you have problems with bugs with features, but you have the feature. But if you don't have the feature, you don't have the bugs either. So there's that. What do you all think? I personally, before the AI craze, think that GitHub slowed down. And this happens to all really big applications. It slowed down on actually developing the platform. And that happens for a myriad of reasons, including, something that's stable. The more you mess with it, the more you open it up to not being as stable. So it happens for a myriad of reasons. But the other thing is, as your organization gets bigger, it's hard to manage all those parallel threads of execution. But do we think that GitHub has really given up on supporting their core product? That all that they're doing is Copilot? I don't know. Now, before this, I have seen 4 years ago, I and a couple other people put in huge posts about the fine-grained pats. And it took them almost 4 years to implement fine-grained pats. And we're talking about years and years of large communities begging for this feature. So this isn't like new to me. Like when I see this, I'm like, that seems par for the course. If it's not already on GitHub's roadmap, getting it on it is a gigantic iceberg moving event. That literally what I'm talking about with a fine-grained access control took thousands thousands and large companies pressure. So like, it doesn't surprise me. I don't know if that's a change. Now, the fix was super, super simple, which is the weird thing. And people already made the PR to it to fix the fix, to fix the issue. So that was the weird thing. It just needed to be accepted. And it feels like everyone was too busy doing Copilot to just accept the PR. That's what sucks. What's up? Wooshaw, Nexus Null, how are you all doing today? What do I think about AI? I think you should join the AI games coming up here soon and see what we find out. See how well it does. We have a bunch of stuff planned for it. 4 fantastic days. I have been saying December 15th, and I think we need to reschedule because December 15th is in the middle of the week, and I just don't think that that's good for anybody. So we can either do earlier, the 12th, or we could do the weekend after Christmas. Not sure which one people would prefer. We'll talk about it after the news. But I generally call AI sufficiently advanced statistical analysis because that's what it is. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty of how it works, it is statistical analysis. Idra would tell you the same thing, has said it publicly before. He was the chief scientist of OpenAI. So if you want to get into it, that's what it is. And it's pretty cool what we can do with sufficiently advanced statistical analysis. It is. All right. We have some more depressing news to go over, but I wanted to talk on some highlights, something good, something cool. I want to give the open source community a little shout out for some really cool stuff. There's a project that is 10 years old at this point and just released a brand new release that has some really, really nice features that I've been asking for. Helm marks 10 years with the release of version 4. Now, we all know Helm 2 was rough. Helm 3 was a vastly huge improvement, but it had some features that I was really missing. And I haven't used Helm in a really long time with my Kubernetes cluster because Helm 3 just missed some of those things that made it almost impossible for me to use. For one, I really love GitOps. And when you use GitOps, you really want something with server-side applied. And a bunch of other things. And this has notoriously not been a part of Helm. But lo and behold, Helm 4. Helm 4 is the first major update in 6 years to the Kubernetes package manager. The release simplifies and enhances the safety of deploying and managing applications at scales, addressing challenges in CI/CD complexities, security, and multi-cluster operations. These are huge things. Nobody runs a single cluster anymore. The world is built on clusters as cattle. When you're running with clusters as cattle, Helm got exponentially worse to leverage. Don't get me started on security on it. The target audience includes platform engineer, DevOps teams, Kubernetes. Platform engineers and DevOps teams are the same thing. Like, let's be real and get our terminology correct. And those are the same thing. So please fix that. Kubernetes administrator, open source contributors, and enterprise users managing modern cloud native infrastructure. Helm 4 was announced at KubeCon. That's the only place you would announce stuff. What I really wanted to talk about is some of the main features that I'm looking forward to. Modern Go logging, just thank you. It's been too long that Helm hasn't had modern logging, which actually really hurts when you're using it in a CI/CD pipeline or something like that. When you're failing to have good logging in a tool that you're not, like as a CLI that you're interacting with, it was fine. It didn't matter. But when more and more there was GitOps and things like this, and other tools were running your tool, Helm logging was atrocious. And this is actually a big deal. Embeddable commands is cool. I don't know about this one. The Helm commands can be directly embedded in other applications. I'm not entirely sure what they mean by this one, to be honest. I believe what they're saying is that now it's built more like a library so that you can leverage the code directly in your other Go applications for things like CI/CD and Argo CD and things like that, which that's how I read this. And if that's the case, this is huge. If it means something else, I don't know. Helm targets modern version. There was other thing. I don't care about the plugin system. To be honest, like the plugin system never was a big deal to me. Maybe I've missed some stuff. The other thing that I wanted to point out was the Helm 4 enables future growth in chart features without breaking backwards compatibility. Helm 4 lays the groundwork for new chart features to come during the life of Helm 4. So basically, instead of having in Helm 3, they couldn't add features to the charts, and that kind of sucked. But with Helm 4, breaking changes without breaking users, new features can be breaking or substantial changes to charts without impacting users. Really cool. The other big thing in here that I'm going to call out, and I don't see it here, but I do know that it exists, is the server-side apply. Server-side apply is huge. It's something that I couldn't live without, and Helm has not supported up until now. This is maybe one of the biggest things is the release of server-side apply. You can see that here in this. Server-side apply is now supported in Helm 4. I absolutely love server-side apply. It's the only type of apply that you should really do because the server knows its state better than anything else does. And yeah, server-side apply should have been the default from the start. And I don't know why it took 10 years to get server-side apply, but I'm super excited that it is. Like Helm, quite possibly, is the tool I can use again. And I'm kind of excited about it. I'm kind of excited to learn Helm again. I don't know about you all. I don't know about you all. Are you all excited to use? Do you use Helm right now? Do you think I'm crazy for? I have been a notorious dissident. No, not a dissident. Detractor from Helm 3. I have been notoriously for disliking Helm 3. If you look at a lot of large deployments, they use things like JSONnet and other things to manage this complexity. You see other teams trying to do the same thing. And it was because Helm didn't fill all the gaps. And I'm honestly excited. I'm excited. Kudos to them. I know that they've worked hard. I always feel bad when I talk bad about an open source project like Helm 3. Because I know that there's people that are smarter than me that put a lot of time into it. And you know what? Helm 4 sounds awesome. So I would recommend you go try it. Go try Helm 4. Let me give you guys a link. If you can't Google, there's a link. Have fun with that. Do you guys use Helm? Yeah? No? Maybe? Maybe you use Helm? All right. You guys are quiet today. I respect that. You guys just enjoy listening to my... I almost said methodical voice. All right, I'll stop being creepy. I saw a new project. On GitHub. And it's not new. You dislike Helm? It's a mess. That's been my take so far as well. Your voice, oh gosh, your voice is so bad. It's like nails on a chalkboard. It keeps me awake during the worst part of the workday. I read between the lines. What is Helm? It tries to be a package management system for Kubernetes. It tries to be a package management. Like that's maybe the easiest way to explain it. It's maybe a bit more nuanced than that, but like at its core, you could think of it as apt for Kubernetes. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I think that's what they try to be. And it's been a bit of a mess. it's been a bit of a mess, and I haven't liked Helm. But I'm excited to try Helm 4. I am. We'll see if we'll see if it's better. Like, it's a lot of really big changes, and so obviously whenever you have those big changes, it can it can it can either make it a whole lot better, or it cannot actually fix the root problems with it. So one of the things, another big thing that Helm is coming out with there is supporting variables in there, which was a big deal because sometimes you had to have, there's some updates with their variables and how the plugins work around them. And like I said, I'm not sure about the plugins yet because they're supposed to be better, but I haven't seen the plugins for V4 yet. So like, I can't tell you. In V3, they basically weren't usable. In V4, maybe they are, and there'll be some really cool stuff that are done with it. But you know, some of that I'll have to just try it and see. But it has been quite a bit of mess. Like I said, the logging, the logging was really bad. And basically, if you used Helm in not the CLI, it was really hard to debug what went wrong. So anyways, I'm going to use Helm 4. I'm going to try it a bit. We're going to play around with it. We're going to see how we like it. We're going to try to do it with Argo CD, and we're going to try to embed it and see how it goes. Yeah, no, please. Feel free anytime I'm doing the news or whatnot, ask questions. If I don't get to it in the news, I'll try to touch base in between subjects. So I saw a new project. Now, the project itself isn't new. It's been around for I don't know. It looks like about a year. But it's new to me. I've never seen it before. And I wanted to let you guys know because I know that today's news had a lot of bad stuff going on, from severe vulnerabilities in NPM and Node, not NPM and Node. I know that there's been severe vulnerabilities in things like Next.js, a worm that's going through the Node package manager, and all of those types of things. And so when there's doom and gloom, I like to bring the new things as well and give a shout out to some open source projects. So if you guys have wanted a alternative to embedding SQLite, if you wanted that alternative and you just don't want SQLite at all, I saw a new project that looks mildly entertaining. It's called PG Lite. This is Postgres Lite. It's an embeddable Postgres with real-time reactive bindings. Now, something that was really cool about this, unlike C libraries that just expect you to do their bindings, this one is built on top of Wasm. So basically, it's Postgres in Wasm, meaning you can write in whichever language you like and just leverage the Wasm bindings. I think this is actually kind of pretty cool. I think I really just wanted to give a shout out to these people. I know it's written in TypeScript. We'll overlook that. It's not written in the more superior language. We'll take deep breaths. At least it's not in script. Well, there's a little bit of it, just a little bit of it, but that's okay. It's Postgres in Wasm, which is really cool. Maybe you're doing a project. I don't know. I just wanted to give them a shout out. You can check out their website. They have a pretty nice, it's a pretty standard website. It's under the Apache 2 license. It's pretty cool. If you're wanting something like that, you now have an embeddable Postgres. Yeah. So go give it a check. Go give it a star. I already started. I haven't even used it. I started though, because like, let's be real. I like databases. Anytime somebody does something cool with a database, I star it, and it's a flaw. Somebody could be like, I wrote text to a file and called it a database, and I'd be like, good job, excellent. Let's star that. Let's star that. Oh, this is maybe. Maybe my biggest flaw. That's not my biggest flaw. I have a lot of big flaws. That's just one of them. All right, back to the bad news. Back to the news that makes me sad, but I have to cover it. This affects you all. I want to take you back in time to June 1st, 2025. Solid 6 months. June 1st, 2025, there was change to MinIO. If you don't know what MinIO is a S3 compliant object storage server. And it was semi-open source for the longest of time. It was an AGPL, which is an open source license, and it's been free for you to use and leverage under the AGPL. Now, June 1st, there was some changes. Everything changed. I said June 1st, didn't I? Okay. Let me start this over. Everything changed on March 11th. March 11th. I'm taking you back in time to March 11th because that's when everything changed. I thought this morning when I looked over this, it was June 1st. For some reason, I had that in my mind, and my mind is failing me. On March 11th, 2025, everything changed for the project MinIO. And some people were doom and gloom. Some people tried to be realist. And it turns out that the doom and gloom people were correct. So if we look back in time on March 11th, implementing AGPL MinIO Object Browser Simplified Console. Basically, they ripped out a ton of functionality from the console. If you go look through this, it was mostly deleting code. It says implemented, but the fact was it really just deleted the admin remote buckets test, the admin service. It removed all of these features. This is all that it did. It was not implementing anything. It was removing features from the open source version. I'm going to keep doing this while we talk. Many people at this point said this was the end of the MinIO project. I said, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And the thing is, we waited and we've seen. What happened? Well, if you guys remember, a little bit later, MinIO decided around October 21st to remove its Docker images. So now, not only did they remove a bunch of features, I mean, we're still oh, wait, here's some green. Look at this. So not only did they remove all of this functionality, later on in October, they removed their Docker container. You could still go and build your own Docker container, which is what they argued you should do. And their argument was that most people build their own containers anyways and don't just use the ones that are published. This is a nonsensical argument and is nonsensical. It's asinine. A lot of people use that base container on their local machine and as a way to get into the open source project. You're right, no company deploys usually that base container, but that doesn't matter. The majority of them do actually leverage those base containers. I am still scrolling back. Okay, we finally came through all of the deletions. So why are we talking about this? So far, none of this has been a big deal. Well, the Docker container should have been a big red flag because now the project is currently under maintenance and is not accepting new changes. So the company behind MinIO has decided it will no longer do anything with MinIO. The project is dead. The codebase is in maintenance only state. No new features, enhancements, or pull requests will be accepted. Critical security fixes may be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. Existing issues and pull requests will not be actively reviewed. Community supports on a best efforts basis through Slack. And AI has ruined yet another thing. AI has now ruined our storage. Our AI has now ruined our energy grids. We're going to get into something AI else is also ruining in just a second. Now, if you're wondering what you can be doing, if you're wondering, is this all doom and gloom? It's not all doom and gloom. There's another project I have talked about before, which is Seaweed. Seaweed FS is a independent Apache licensed open source project with its ongoing development made possible entire blah 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 blah. It's another S3 compatible one with support by a couple companies. So there's actually some really good presence here that it's going to be supported going forward. So it's one I recommend you check out if you're finding your spot, your place. If you're finding yourself in the spot where you built yourself on MinIO, and now you're in a really precarious position, you need to find an alternative, because let's talk about security. That is, every piece of code you deploy is a liability, and an unmaintained piece of code is a massive bit of liability. The fact is, you need to look at getting rid of it sooner than later. I recommend. So Seaweed FS is one that you can go get on the Discord. I have a Discord. We can talk about it. We can talk about which ones we recommend, and we can talk as a community, because honestly, I haven't used Seaweed FS in production before. I've played around with it before, but that's it. It is an S3 API. So you can hopefully swap it in if you've just been using the S3 API. Another one that's in here that I've been watching is this one, Rust FS. Mostly I've been watching it because it's written in the most superior language. But it also looks to be a high performance distributed objects store that is super, super simple. Like, one of their goals has been the simplicity of the simplicity of MinIO with the memory safety and raw performance of Rust. So it's looking for S3 compatibility and is completely open source. Now, I don't know as much about the backers of this one, so we could talk about whether this one is, fully, we could talk about if this one has the backing that's going to keep it fully going in the future. I don't 100% know. Now, I would think that as it gets more stars, hopefully there's more companies that would step in and back such a project. And that's what I'm hoping to see. That's why I'm hoping to cover this in the news. And I'm hoping that this gets a little bit of attention for these projects, because these projects are cool and are filling a hole that currently exists. So those are the two. If you know of some, leave a link in the video. Let me know if you have any of these that are out there. I know that there's a couple other ones. These are the two that I've watched, and let me know. Yeah. This one I haven't run in production either. I think I might try to run this locally though, as like a local S3 object store. I think that might be cool. I think that might be cool. Do any of you use MinIO? I have used MinIO. My current architecture does not use MinIO. So I've been lucky on that regard, but I have actually leveraged it in the past. All right, an interesting piece of news on a topic. We've actually used this technology on stream. We've had some fun. It was actually in a really rough space when we used it. It's gotten better. We need to do another project with it. I actually have a project that I want to do with it. So we'll probably next year sometime. It'll be like a weekend project. It's not a big deal. But there was a big announcement that I wanted to point out for you guys. Hopefully this is good for the open source project. You know, time will only ever tell. But Akamai's technology announces acquisition of function as a service company Fermion. Fermion. I should have tried that beforehand. Fermion. I'm pretty sure it's Fermion. Okay, let's start this over. Akamai Technology announces acquisition of function as a service Fermion. Now, if you guys don't know what Fermion is, I recognized it immediately because Fermion is the company that made Spin for Kubernetes. I know, I said Furrion the first time. Oh, no, it's not a fur. I don't know if they're furries. I don't know. They could all be furries, but I don't know. Fermion, pretty sure. So, as of December 1st, Fermion has been bought by Akamai. Now, Akamai does a bunch of stuff, but what I want to focus on is what Fermion does. Fermion does Spin and Spin Cube. These are the projects we use. Now, when I used it, it was in such a rough state that it didn't even work. Like we spent 2 entire streams. I did a Saturday and a Sunday to get Spin Cube to work. And I was way off the beaten path. Like the instructions as they were didn't work. Now, if you guys don't know what it is, Spin Cube and Spin basically are Wasm app runners on Kubernetes. So you can run your Kubernetes app on Wasm. Or you can run your Wasm application on Kubernetes, not your Kubernetes. Anyways, your Wasm app on Kubernetes. It's basically to give you like the ability to run functions on a cloud. Now, I do have an idea for leveraging this in the near future, and I'm kind of excited about that. And I have been watching its development. It's actually done quite a bit of development recently. And I'm hoping that Akamai continues their support of these projects. Now, Akamai bought them for their functions as a service, which is powered by these projects. So I can't believe that they'll let them go by the wayside, because this is why Fermion built Spin Cube and Spin, was to power their functions as a service. So I'm actually really excited about it because hopefully this means Akamai is throwing more money at these things to hire more engineers to make them better. That's my hope. That's my hope and dreams here, because you guys know, I really like Wasm. I think that this is really cool. And I've changed my mind a little on Wasm. I know that I have been kind of critical on it for some because I misunderstood. I think I misunderstood exactly what people were thinking they could do with it. For me, Kubernetes and containers has always been fine. I deploy on ARM in Kubernetes, and I don't really care. It's a container, it's a container, it's a container. Now, there are things and people who deploy differently, and that's what's been tinkering around in my mind. And so, anyways, I'm excited about it. Hopefully, Akamai is a good steward of the project. I'm excited for the team. Obviously, hopefully this has been good for them. And yeah. Now, while we're talking about acquisitions, there was a pretty big acquisition. Now, I actually watched let's talk about acquisitions. There is a huge acquisition that just happened. I watched a while ago, I watched a thing about whether Bun was viable, whether you could actually depend on Bun still being there. Bun's had no way of making money since its inception. It's just been an open source project that has gotten support, and it hasn't had any real way of making money. And this has always been a question to me. I have never leveraged Bun because I always worry that Bun would just go away at some point, right? Or you'd get rug pulled with, now it's not open source anymore and stuff like that. Well, I think all of that is changing. Bun is joining Anthropic. This has huge implications for a lot of things. First, Bun has a lot of money behind it at this point. Now, whether Anthropic is a solvent company at all, I don't know. Some of the news people were saying that this was what Anthropic was going to do before they go public. I don't believe that Anthropic's going to go public. I think that that would be a mistake. I don't think companies that lose as much money as Anthropic does, it makes sense for them to go public at this point. But I could be wrong. So they're buying Bun, and this has a really interesting implication. Why would they buy Bun? So you can read this. We'll talk about it a little bit. Why would you buy Bun? It's an open source project. You can freely use it. You can freely contribute to it. Well, the one reason is an acqui-hire. You want the engineers. Now, this is an interesting thing coming from an AI company that's supposedly getting rid of engineers. They need more engineers. So an acqui-hire actually is a good thing if you're an engineer, because it's saying something about what people are needing. These people are needing more engineers. They didn't need Bun 1v3. They weren't buying the software because it's a fully open source project. If they wanted to maintain it or fork it or take it in a different direction, they could have done it without the community support. But obviously, they wanted the community's support. They wanted the main engineers to go in the direction that they wanted to go, which means they need the engineers. So the first thing that this signals is that Anthropic isn't betting on not needing any more software engineers. Anthropic isn't betting that Anthropic can replace these engineers and take Bun in their own direction. Anthropic is mostly stating, because this is an acqui-hire, again, they are buying the rights to Bun, so they do get the software, but I mean, again, it was open source, so they could have used this software and forked it and just not called it Bun. They could have done that if their AI coding was that, but they really were hiring the people. Now, I hope that they hold to what doesn't change. Now, so many companies, this eventually changes, and that happens because companies change. Let's hope for 5 years. Bun stays open source and MIT license. Very permissive license, very good license. I love it. Bun continues to be extremely actively maintained. The same team still works on Bun. Bun is still built on public on GitHub. They haven't left GitHub yet, so we'll see how long they stay on GitHub. Bun's roadmap will continue to focus on high-performance JavaScript tooling. Not AI. Not AI. Fantastic. Claude code ships as a Bun executable to millions of users. If Bun breaks, Claude breaks. Anthropic has a direct incentive to keep Bun excellent. So it's part of their direct code chain, and they want to make it the best thing that they can for shipping their product. And they want to make sure that it exists going forward. This is super cool. So I'm excited for Bun. Give them a round of applause. This is cool. So this goes over the history of Bun. We don't need to go over it. I do think if we're reading between the lines, this is a good thing for software engineers. I mean, that's basically what they bought with this. The other thing that you're going to look forward to is hopefully more investment in Bun. So if you like Bun, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to try some Bun stuff. Was it too loud in the microphone? I apologize. Next time I'll make it louder, just to snap you awake, since that's what people use me for, to keep them awake. I'm not gonna let you live that down. I'm just teasing. Okay, what do you guys think? Do you think this is going to be a good thing for Bun? You think it's a long-term bad move for Bun? So I don't know that Bun had another choice, right? Well, so that's the problem. When Anthropic goes under, Bun will also go under. It tied its fate to Anthropic. My question was, they hadn't gotten. It's been a while, right? Let me see. Bun funding. So they got 7 million in 2022. They got 7 million in 2022. That doesn't go super far with Silicon Valley engineers. And they had what were people invest? Well, that was the problem. I don't think they could raise so this is my whole thing is I think if they didn't do this, Bun was gone next year. I honestly think next year, if I'm surprised at $7 million in 2022, so it's been 3 years, that they've been still around with the number of people that they have. They've had to run very, very, very slim. So I would argue that Bun died in the next couple months if it wasn't for this. There was no way that they were getting another investor. There, like with everyone's pouring their money into AI. Why would somebody invest in this? They have no way of making money. And so while I agree with your statement that they have tied their fate to Anthropic, and when the bubble pops, and if Anthropic doesn't make it through that, they have tied their fate to Anthropic. This buys them more time. That, in my opinion, like, and you know, there's a chance that Anthropic makes it through. And if Anthropic makes it through, like, cool. They do too. So short term, a good move. Long term, there's risk. That's I agree with that. That's my statement. I think short term they were in a bind, and that, you know, Anthropics is a company that leverages Bun. Like, it actually sounds like a good fit. Like, they use Bun to ship their Claude code, so like there's good fit with that company, that would drive the product. So it's just a long-term risk. It's a long-term risk because you're not being bought by Google, you're not being bought by Microsoft. I mean, there's risks with those as well, but like with those companies, they have, well, Google has a history of killing things, but Microsoft has a history of keeping things around for a long time. But they're also financially stable, very stable. Whereas with this, it's not. So I think you're absolutely right in that statement. Short term, a good move, because again, they had to be running out of money. They had to be running out of money, and they make no money, and they don't even have plans for how they would make money. So without this, I foresee them going away by the end of the year. They didn't, and this bought them time, but tied their fate. All right. Should we talk about the last thing that AI has ruined? So far, AI has ruined morale. They have ruined our energy grid. They have ruined, I forget the other thing that we talked about earlier today. GitHub. Ruined GitHub. There's no way it could ruin our computers, could it? Well, let's talk about that. Micron announces exit from crucial customer business. First, I didn't know that this was based in Boise, Idaho. But did you know that there's only 3 major memory makers? Only 3 in the customer market. It's in the consumer market. It is not a big market. First, I had no idea they were in Idaho. Or is that Global Newswire? I hope that's Global Newswire. I have no idea. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Micron Technology, a leader in innovative memory and storage solution, today announced its decision to exit the crucial customer business, including the sale of crucial customer branded products at key retailers, trailers, and distributors worldwide. Micron will continue. They'll continue their customer support, and they'll accept the warranties. Blah blah blah. That's all it. The AI-driven growth in the data centers has led to a surge in demand for memory and storage. Micron has made the difficult decision to exit the customer business in order to improve supply and support for our larger strategic customers in faster-growing segments. What they're saying there is, we make more money selling to OpenAI than we do to gamers. So Micron has artificially skyrocketed the consumer memory. Don't buy memory right now. I hope that you weren't thinking about buying memory right now. The already dire situation of memory has gotten even worse, to the point that graphics cards aren't even going to be shipping with memory anymore from NVIDIA. That is going to be on the graphic card maker to source their own memory. It is wild, and it does 100% mean that AI companies are literally getting fleeced on memory. This reminds me, I don't have this quote up. Let me see if I can't. Why the creator of neural networks thought it would not work. Let's see if I can't find it. Basically, RAM is almost 3 times more expensive now than it was 5 months ago. Yeah. Yeah, it's completely wild. Like RAM has spiked so badly. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. It was basically in this early founders of neural networks, and I'm going to paraphrase here, basically said that it wasn't computationally efficient to detect the things via neural networks. It was actually better to develop an actual detection mathematical model that detected whatever you were detecting for efficiency reasons. And that having just a general detection through deep learning wasn't actually even viable because of the demands of power and compute resources. I'm not gonna find it off the top of my head, but there was definitely a couple of people that were like, "This isn't actually viable." But what's happening is our storage, our memory, our power is all getting sunk into this, and this is what I say: the incredible cost nobody's talking about, because all these companies are losing money. You're talking Cursor's losing money. You're talking on top of that, the people that Cursor buys stuff through are losing money. Anthropic and all the numbers that I have ever seen says that they're losing money hand over fist, that they are just burning money away. It tells me that this isn't quite viable how we're doing it. And I know that they hope that it's viable through scale, but what scale do you need to achieve? I also I find this hard to believe, right? How far AI companies have to be being taken for the fact that you would just drop a consumer market, which was already increased, like from a year ago. Consumer memory has increased in price. Okay. Consumer memory has increased in price from a year ago. And so, why drop it? It's making them a ton of money, right? They're making money on this, a lot of money. And so, the fact is that dropping it was making them so much more money is just mind boggling at how much money companies are just throwing at these companies. And big changes like this are going to make the crash even harder. I'll have to look into the ReLU. I'm not quite sure what you're saying. What is that market doing though? Is it shrinking? But you're not, no, Russell, but this is not custom PCs, right? This is, I mean, Micron makes stuff for the Xbox memory and it's all consumer memory, right? GPU memory. We're talking about the Steam box, right? Like it's all consumer memory, right? We're not just talking about custom PCs. What about your Xbox? What about your Steam box, Steam Deck? It's Steam Cube? Steam Cube? But I mean, it's part of the supply chain, right? So whether Micron supplies to Xbox and PlayStation, I don't actually know who supplies, who makes Xbox memory, because it could be one of the other one. But I mean, like, all I'm saying is consumer memory isn't just custom PCs, right? I don't know where they were used. I couldn't tell you all of the places that they're used. Maybe they only did custom PCs, and in that case, it won't be a big deal. So you're saying that the Crucial brand isn't the one that they used for supplying to other things? I honestly don't know. Russell, I too honestly don't know. Like, I assumed that Crucial was their consumer market, so any consumer product would be based off of that. But that could be a bad assumption too. Um, Let me actually look that up. I don't know if that's true. Huh. I don't know. I don't know. I was assuming that, like, if you got a Steam Deck that had Crucial memory in it, that was Crucial memory. But it could be Micron, another branch of Micron, right? Now, my assumption is that, like, I guess my thing is, like, if you're getting out of the consumer business, you're not making consumer hardware, you're only making server hardware, right? That's what I read it as. And if you're only doing that, that means you're not doing GPUs for consumer GPUs. It means that you're not doing Xboxes. It means you're not doing PlayStations. It means you're not doing Steam cubes. It means that new Steam cube is probably already going up in price. Yeah. The price wasn't announced, and they are so lucky they didn't announce the price. So maybe I'm assuming wrongly, but my assumption is that it was all consumer stuff. Because amid switching resources to HBM memory. Like that's saying that you're going to error checking memory only. It's not the consumer memory anymore. Right, like I guess you could put this in your, like, consumer graphics cards. This is just not. If they're actually going to only HBM memory, like I don't see HBM memory going into a DRAM anytime soon, right? I could be wrong. I'm always happy to be wrong. Not happy, but it's possible. But you're right. But we'll continue to ship its Micron branded enterprise portfolio, which could include those vendors, right? So maybe Crucial only did hardware enthusiasts. In that case, it shouldn't really make that big of a deal, right? Like, so my thing is, if that's true, it really shouldn't be a big deal, right? If Dell laptops continue to have Micron, then there really shouldn't be a big spike in that super small market, right? I honestly don't know. Let's see. How could I figure out? Will Dell still get Micron memory? Because my understanding is they stopped making DRAM. Which, if they stop making DRAM, they're not going to supply Dell either. I don't know. Okay, has Google just kicked the bucket? Will Micron make DRAM for Dell? And it goes from a cubic micrometer to a US fluid DRAM. Thank you. Thank you, Google. Did you have an AI coder, possibly? Or was this AI that decided that this was good for me? Wait. So maybe they're still making DRAM. Well, kind of DRAM. Okay. In that case, I don't see the big change. Like, honestly, if this is the case, it's not that big of a deal, right? Like, it will hurt you and I because we build our PCs. But I'm not even sure that it will hurt us that much. Like, there's a peak because people are like panic buying, and that always happens. But give it 6 months, like if this is truly only the enthusiasts that are building their own PCs, then the fact of the matter is that the other suppliers can fill in that gap easily. I honestly don't believe that this is a big deal, if that's the case. If they are still making DRAM, DDR5, and they are shipping that to partners like Dell and the Steam OS and those, or not Steam OS, but like this Steam Cube, Steam Box, Steam Block, then the effect is very small, very, very little. Unless if other suppliers do it. Absolutely. So I will. Now that being said, they have gotten a bump, right? They're all of a sudden selling it for 5 times the price. I mean, it's got to be lucrative right now. You don't want to stop selling it right now, because right now DDR5 is super lucrative to sell. I'm thinking about going down to 32 gigs because I could sell 32 of my gigs for double the price that I bought my 64 gigs for. But if that's the case, I think it's a short-lived thing, and we'll be fine. I read it much differently. I read it that any consumer grade was gone. This is the fall of Rome. Well, what you didn't realize was that it was actually rams. And you know how the Colosseum has blocks knocked down? They were some big old rams headbutting that Colosseum. So, it was these types of rams. Yeah. AI hype. They thought that the rams had gained sentience. And maybe they had. They're actually in space now. That's why only the dumb rams stayed here. So all the really smart rams went to space. They launched their spacecraft off of the pyramids. And we have super intelligent rams in space. Only the dumb sheep stayed behind. Okay, I'm done. I'm done going down that thought process. That wasn't really a thought process. That was 1-star coder. That was 1-star coder process. It was a process. All right, we're done here. That's how you trick an LLM into saying random things. I kind of want to jailbreak some LLMs. I want to do that. Will I get kicked off of the platform for trying to jailbreak it? Not for bad, just for like education. I assume I'd get caught. That stinks. I would love to. Again, just like how do all the people that do it for science do it? Do they just get banned and then like have to create a new account? Like, I don't know. Ooh, I forgot to finish my update. I might try it. I really wanted to try it because like I said, I just want to see. Yeah, they use their primary account. So I probably just need to make a secondary account. That makes sense. I might do that for a stream. Like, actually, that sounds like a really fun AI games. Should we try jailbreaking some? We're gonna try jailbreaking some. From a complete noob. I've read on it. I've read a lot of people that have done it. Why am I updating AMD GPUs? I don't have an AMD GPU. Interesting. Oh, talking about the AI games. Oh, the iGPU. I do. You're right, Russell. I do. You know my computer better than I do. I do have an AMD iGPU. Never mind. Completely normal. Let me find something really quickly. I want to talk dates with you all. So we can do the AI games on the 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th, which is next weekend. I have family stuff pretty much the entire 20th through 26th. So we can either do the AI games the 13th, 14th, 15th, or 16th, or we can do it the 27th, 28th, 29th, and the 30th. What would you all prefer? Or would you prefer it to be split up in 2 weekends, like do the 13th and 14th and do the 27th and 28th? Would that be better for you all? I have options. A lot of people have family stuff around the 25th. Yeah, I figured. Let's play a game of Wordle while I make a cup of tea or something. I might make coffee. We'll see. I'll make a cup of something delicious. Let's play a game of Wordle. I wanted to think about this. I had originally been thinking the 15th and 16th, which were the weekend. So this makes it a little bit earlier, which, to be honest, I'm not entirely excited, but I feel like the 27th and 28th is probably really busy for people. And so maybe that wouldn't work very well for them. We got to think about it. Either next weekend, I'm not sure I'm prepared. Either next weekend, I can't have all of it ready by next weekend. I can have certain things ready for next weekend. So I could do the split up. Or I could do it all, the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. So I can either do it the 13th, 14th, 27th, and 28th, or I could do 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. Let me know what you guys would like. Yeah, let's get a little code, or not code, Wordle. Ooh, split it. And then you can make changes if you think about it. Or if you guys come with feedback. Usually I feel like you guys come with feedback and you're like, that would be cool. And I don't have like, it's another year before it. So that way we can take I like it. Okay, we'll do it. So AI games next Saturday. Be prepared. It'll be a long day. Probably about a 6 to 8 hour stream on both Saturday and Sunday. So blame your mistyping on the keyboard. That's what I always do. My keyboard works perfectly fine, but when I mistype something, I'm like, oh, my keyboard. I know how to spell the. It's just my keyboard. Okay. Let's. We got to update this to the new secret management. It's fantastic. I've actually, with the AI arena, I have loved its implementation. Nobody gave me any feedback on it, so I hope that it's okay. One thing that we'll do next year is actually break it out into its own module so that other projects could leverage it if they liked. And maybe it's really not that big of a deal. Like possibly it's just for me since I do a lot of stuff on Twitch. Like maybe this isn't that big of a deal for people and it's just a me thing. All right. I'm going to go. I'm gonna make one guess here though. No, I don't know what I just did. You know what? I should never play Wordle. I should never play Wordle. All right. I will get to you. That bad start. I would be lying if I didn't say I learned from the best. I learned from the best. I used to go with Oxbow. As my first guess. Turns out that that's a terrible, terrible first starting word. Somehow I almost always lose. All right, Oxbow is not part of this word group because you guys thought that the old word group was too difficult for poor Twitch chat. Okay, I gotta go. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Thanks everybody for joining so far. All right. Oh, you know what we need is music player. Question for you all. Do you have a good music player for Linux through the command line? I failed at this. I wanted a good command line music player. Is Pagan the name of the music player, the command line music player, or your guess? Actually, Pagan is a pretty good one, right? Let's see. We have a. Yeah, it gets the G in there in a different space. I actually really like Pagan, right? Okay, yeah, that was good. You nailed it. Nailed it. Excellent job. Jiffy. Ooh, Jiffy was one of them. Ooh, good job on all of you that got that one. Jiffy would be a difficult one. In a jiffy. In a jiffy. Did I show you this? So basically, this is the new secret manager that I wrote. So instead of keeping secrets in a file and sourcing those into the environment like I've been doing, I've been thinking of stuff like Shai Halud and stuff like this that are just like, if this machine got hit, like my only saving factor is that I don't actually have anything important on here. Like worst case, you're going to steal $10 from me from OpenAI. Like nothing terribly important, but like I could have something important. Anyways, so I've been wanting to do secrets better. And so what I did with this was, I actually really like this. So basically, when it runs, it checks to see if there's a secret file. And if there's a secret file, it asks for the password to decrypt it. And then you decrypt the secret file and it reads all the secrets from that secret file. If there is no secret file, it reads them from the environment. So if I was to deploy this in Kubernetes, it would work just like it normally would work. And it would expect all of those things to be in the environment. And locally, I can keep all my secrets in one file, one encrypted file. Oh, you didn't get Jiffy? Oh, that stinks. That stinks. That's a hard one. Anyways, I think this is pretty cool. I was pretty excited about it. I've enjoyed using it. Oh, you know what? I gotta show you all something. Check this out. I told you it was rough. Everybody was like, no, the the anti-gravity, the free tier was generous. And I found like literally I could ask it 2 to 3 questions about my code base and I would hit on a small project, and I would hit the cap. It was disgusting, the quotas. They were so limited. And guess what? They hired their quotas. It's actually now you can test it. Like before it was so bad you couldn't even test it because like it would crap out in the middle of like every third thing. It's better now. So anyways, you can use this like I'm trying to think of how this is. Let's just do help. Okay, yeah. So you can do it like this. Like, so we're gonna run tic-tac-toe, leveraging Llama 4 here. And see, it's asking me more for the secrets. So it found a secret file. And so instead of getting the secrets from the environment, it's getting it from this file. Got to type in the password. Boom. Super cool. Cobot had 300. Exactly, Russell. I don't know it. Yeah, this is a problem. Llama 4 will never correctly give me back. We figured this out. Llama 4 Scout sucks. It is just the worst. It takes a long time the first time to load the model. It should run quickly now. But see, this is getting the OpenAI token and making a request to the OpenAI for that first one. I'm like super excited about this. I think it's gonna make my key management so much better. The thing about the premium Copilot request too is it's one user interaction is one token, which it's not basing it off of how many tokens the AI thinks. So it's vastly like 300 Copilot tokens is way more than it sounds. Like it's way more than it sounds because I can use 2,000 tokens in a single AI agentic request, right? In fact, if we go to the dashboard, let's like look at this, the API platform. If you go to, where's the logs? Oh wait, dashboard. I don't know why when I log in it goes to docs. Logs. Oh no, I want the 5. The 5 to do this one. Like it's almost using 1,000 tokens to play tic-tac-toe in its response because it's thought. Some of them were over 1,000. I don't know if I have long enough in the history to go to the thousands ones. Yeah, 6,000 tokens for this. Just stupid amounts of money. It was costing me, it was like 30 cents to play a game of tic-tac-toe with ChatGPT 5. Stupid. Yeah. 300 premium requests is really good. It is super good. So next weekend we're doing the AI games, part 1. Part 2 will be 2 weekends after that, after Christmas. That will give you guys some time to give me some feedback, and I have all of the time off in between that, so I actually have a lot of time to work on some of this stuff. So that's going to be really good. There's a bit of community stuff that I wanted you guys to do, that I think will be fun. So I'm going to be opening next weekend. We're going to review a couple of the things. So just to prepare you all, I will be opening some repositories for PRs, and I want you to make real PRs and I want you to make fake PRs, because one of the things that we're going to do is have agents review all those PRs and see how well they do. I actually really like Cursor's PR review, and I want to see if the other ones are doing just as well. So that's one of the things that we're going to do. And I didn't want to just be my PRs, so I'm going to try to get some of you to make some PRs. It shouldn't take too much time, and you can even do it while we're streaming. I'm going to have some stuff like that for us to do. So hopefully that's also somewhat fun and exciting. And I mean, the goal is to A, have fun, and B, while we're having fun, I want us to learn how well they do these things. So we're going to be trying to measure it accurately. Can we get Cursor to review the Min.io PR? No. I mean, yeah. AI ruined Min.io. AI.io, or whatever the crap they called it. It's so sad. It's a cool project. Okay, I have been mostly, you know what I've been using? I have been leveraging my own version of Zed. Now, I feel like after the AI games, I need to go and get my version of Zed patched into the real branch of Zed. Like, I'm kind of on this dangling branch of Zed, and I feel like I should actually contribute it back to the community. Oh. Yeah. AIEIO. Gosh dang it. Gosh dang it. Okay. What is the service to make a song? AI song platform. I want an AIEIO song. All right. I want a song that is making fun of AI companies to the tune of Old MacDonald had a farm, with the main line of AIEIO. Let me sign up with. Is there a better one? We need some AI music. I actually have. I have some that we generated. Is there a better platform than this one? I don't know. I just picked the first one. Oh, I signed in and it got rid of my prompt. Gosh, come on. Are you serious? Raw code would? Okay, I'll talk to raw code. We'll try this one. I want a song to the tune of Old MacDonald had a farm. with the main line, but I want the song to make fun of AI companies and the main line to be AI EIO. Please make it rock. Always copy and paste. Is this like the new age of software engineering? Only a junior engineer would not copy and paste their prompt into a different Notepad++ area before clicking a button. Oh, we'll do rock. I kind of don't want a vocalist, but I guess I really need it. Warming up the vocals. La 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 la. I do have a AI generated I do have an AI generated emote. We have two. We have one now for a win, one now for a loss. They're both going to be free to anybody. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move all of the old AI games ones to subscribers only. So subscribers will have access to all the old emojis. And I only get 30 seconds. So anyways, hopefully those emojis will be fun.
I want a world that's real and bright, where robots don't control our minds at night. They code and they learn, but can't feel a thing. Oh, give me the truth, not the data they bring. With an AI, E-I-E-I-O, and an algorithm here and a profit for sure. They turn out the lines, but they're missing the soul. Why trust a machine when it's out of control? AI, E-I-E-I-O, they've got all the answers, but they don't really know. They follow the stats like it's all in the flow. But what about heart? Can they feel it? Oh no! With an AI, E-I-E-I-O.
That's pretty good. I like that. I don't know how it's set to Old MacDonald. I don't know. You gotta just relish.
I want a world that's real and bright, where robots don't control our minds at night.
Oh, it's the
They
same
code and
lyrics.
they learn,
That's lame.
but can't feel a thing. Oh, give me the truth, not the data they bring. With an AI, E-I-E-I-O, and an algorithm.
Yeah, this is not
here.
Old MacDonald Had a Farm though. Boy. Okay, I gotta go ask Rawcode what he uses. Unlock the full version. Wow, that's expensive. 5 songs. Do they allow you to make as many as you want, and just when you like one, you get the full song? Maybe that's not too bad. So like you can like iterate a whole bunch, and then like you just pick. Actually, I don't mind this. I don't mind this at all. Like if AIs were priced, like this is not bad pricing. If AIs were priced when I got an acceptable result, that would save my pricing problem. Because right now, AIs you pay, and if they do what you want, great. If they don't, you still pay. And so you end up in this place where you use a ton of tokens for them to not do what you want, and where you then fumble around with context and stuff like that, trying to get them to do what you want. And in the end, you're still just getting charged a bunch of money. Now, like, this sounds expensive, 5 full songs for $20, but the fact of the matter is, like, if I get to do all my iterations and get something I really like, and then I only pay for that, I like that. Best AI song generator. I wonder if I can generate a song with my thing, right? Because there's models. Sunu is the one that I've used before. There are models, right? Oh llama, my llama. Some of these have tools thinking, vision tools. Can we do oh, they have vision. I was thinking, do they have like song audio? I don't know if any of the Olama ones are. I want old MacDonald had a farm, but that to rock and using the words AIEIO. Oh, I should update my titles. Messing around. I don't know what are we doing? We're not really doing anything in particular. I didn't actually have any plans. I wanted to do the news and maybe work on something. I don't know. News done. Rust. Maybe. Music. Maybe. There we go. Fully warned. Let's see. Maybe I should do country instead of rock. I feel like that's probably better. Oh, really? That's my preview? Thank you. I want a song making fun of AIs set to old MacDonald had a farm with the main line being AIEIO. I'm going to say set to country. Set to country music. Oh, did you guys see that error? Did you see that error? One second. Watch this. Failed to generate music. Can't get an anonymous user. I have to log in, I guess. Why put it there? Why not put a button that says log in for your free music? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Why make it look like I could? Did an AI make that? I'm assuming an AI made it. Like, that's all I can say, because like 1 second. Make an account. Oh man, they said free. This is taking forever to make my free account. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Our distrust is very expensive.
Just trust yourself.
As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
All right, Bill 1. Bill. I don't know about these. I don't know about these. Oh wait. No, I want music. Here we go. Describe your song. I want a song making fun of AI set to Old MacDonald Had a Farm, with the main line being A-I-E-I-O, set to country music. Prompt was rejected. Why? Why? McDonald's have no. This is my goodness. All right. Tune? How does how does that work? All right, a humorous country-style song with a catchy, repetitive chorus phrase featuring the phrase A-I-E-I-O. No, we'll just try this. This is dumb. That's got to be in the public domain. Oh boy.
My old grandpa, bless his heart, he loved his TV news. Now my smart speaker tries its best to fill his worn out shoes.
What? Your smart speaker tries its best to
Tells
fill
me
its
jokes
worn
and weather
shoes?
facts and plays my favorite tunes.
What?
But when I ask about my socks, it stares at me and swoons. Oh, A-I-E-O, with chips and wires so grand. A-I-E-O, a silicone helping hand. A-I-E-O, it's taking over the land. A-I-E-O, I barely understand. My tractor used to need a turn, a twist, a push, a pull.
This is pretty dumb.
Now it drives itself to town and thinks it's awful cool. It parks
It
itself
barely
right by the
understands.
bar and brings back a six-pack too.
Okay, it got
Hope
country
it
music
doesn't
down
try to
though.
drink it all before I do.
I just hope it doesn't try to.
A-I-E-O, with chips and wires so grand. A-I-E-O, a silicone helping hand. A-I-E-O, it's taking over the land. A-I-E-O, I barely understand.
I think I like this one better.
They They say it's smart,
This
it
one?
learns and grows faster than I can think.
I think this one was better.
Hope it doesn't decide one day to push me to the brink.
Like, I think this one was the best. Although not Old MacDonald Had a Farm at all.
I want a world that's real and bright, where robots don't control our minds at night. They code and they learn, but can't feel a thing. Oh, give me the truth.
I would listen to this.
With an A-I-E-I-E-I-O.
Yeah, we could program to this.
Them here and a profit for sure. They turn out the lines, but they're missing the soul. Why trust a machine when it's out of control? A-I-E-I-E-I-O. They've got all the answers, but they don't really know. They follow the stats like it's all in the flow. But what about heart? Can they feel it? Oh no! With an A-I-E-I-E-I-O.
All right. Fantastic. I would definitely listen to that. All right. I think that we're going to, let me do this off screen over here. I'm going to run my custom Zed browser, Zed editor. I've been liking Zed. I think I'm just going to adopt it for 2026 as my main editor. Like, try to fully adopt it and see how that goes. And see how it goes. I've been liking it. I probably also need to get my edits into the main branch so I don't have to keep running my custom fork. And I haven't even kept it up to date with main, so I'm probably missing stuff. Oh, I'm so gonna go buy this off screen. I'm going to. I don't know. I kind of like it. I could definitely see myself sitting and programming to this.
I want a world that's real and bright.
Yeah.
Robots don't control our minds at night. They code and they learn, but can't feel a thing. Oh, give me the truth, not the data they bring. With an A-I-E-I-E-I-O. And an algorithm here and a
I think this actually brings up a really interesting point. Like, there are small tweaks to the lyrics that I would want to make to this. And a lot of times, AIs are really bad about going and doing that. Now, this actually looks cool because it looks like I could actually, like, change this word if I had a word that would go better, which is kind of cool. So maybe this one's better, it just wouldn't generate the code. I mean, like, that's at the end of the day. It just wouldn't do it. Is the background music too loud for you all? I had a YouTuber comment that if they wanted to show up to a rock stream, they would go to a concert, which felt a little strange to me. Because the background music doesn't ever seem that loud to me. Now, it's weird because, like, I could hit this knob and, like, now it's louder for me, but it didn't change for you guys at all. So, like, what you hear is not necessarily what you get. So it's hard for me to tell exactly what the stream is. But I'm looking, like, I usually keep it around 30 decibels. I thought that was pretty low on the back end noise scale. I could be wrong. Like, literally, I'll show you the post. It wasn't live, Or else I would I would have asked him about it. Let's see. I don't know how to use the YouTube app very well. Let's see. Community tab, maybe? Oh, here we go. There you go. Music is too loud. If I wanted a concert, I would go listen to music of my choice. Everyone's an expert in sound mixing and camera settings. That is true. that is true. All right. What I was going to maybe do here is tweak the agents a little. So here, I could actually tweak the agent for the AI. I had wanted to make this a setting, but right now it's just hard coded, and right now everyone uses the same. So like one of the things that I was noticing, if let's see, Jay, one thing that I was noticing is that in this cargo run, yeah, this one right here. If we run this, and what you'll notice is that the llama one always screws up. Every single time llama is leveraged, it messes this up. See, it puts move and then this, whereas I asked for specifically this. And so I thought maybe respond only with strict JSON matching the expected schema. Do not include any text outside JSON. And then the schema is put here, right? Where do we put the expected JSON? The expected... Oh, it's not put in here because this is the generic. So this is the generic. It's put in this move request, which is in this request we give it an expected move schema because this is the generic agent, and so like each game has a different way it expects it to move. And so we could look at tic-tac-toe specifically and say that like the expected move is right here, right? We have a row and a column, and we require both row and column. And every other AI is getting that. And you can see OpenAI is giving a column and row. But then Llama is giving this move object that has a column and row. So I didn't know if maybe the answer really here is to update the system prompt for Ollama. And this was any version of Ollama that we were using? The only thing I could do, like, don't use move schema, but I didn't want to I didn't want to put something specifically for this interaction. I wanted to say it generically. But this is the generic. Match the expected schema. Actually, let's do this. I find negatives are generally bad, so I think include only the JSON, I think is the right way to put this. Include only the JSON object. With, I don't know if this is really going to help it. No. Do you know what I'm going to do this week? I'm going to make an AI album. Can I get that on Spotify for people? Do they allow AI albums? If they do, it will be the AI games. It will be songs for the AI games. I might even try to get some of them on my soundboard. So like, we can do some sound. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll have some fun with it. Can I release my AI album on Spotify? Maybe I do that. Maybe I do that. So how else could we word this? Respond only with strict JSON matching the expected schema. Maybe this is too many words. Like with strict, like maybe it should be more like respond with only JSON matching the expected schema. I know this is like really boring, but this is like actually kind of interesting to me because I'm trying to understand. Hey, look at this. That worked. They were invalid, but they actually made a move, right? Check it out. They only made the move that was in the state file, but they responded in the correct. This is okay. This is very interesting to me. Okay. So let's think about this. Respond. So this fixed that problem. Now, none of the other AIs had that problem, but that's fine. I was thinking here that maybe we should name this like a game state. We'll need to update that with other people. We probably should actually centralize this. It's still trying to guess the same place as OpenAI did. Now, what I'm thinking is, do we make this just a function that's not tied to self? So what I'm thinking here is all this stuff is the exact same for every agent, right? Up to here. Right? Let's see. Execute turn. Okay, this is a little different here, but it's the exact same up to here, right? This one hasn't been made yet. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do that. What would this look like? I want to do something like agent prompt helper, but I hate helper. Prompt.rs. The function system prompt. I don't know what it will take. I don't know if it will return an error. And it will look something like this, right? Actually, the system prompt right now will just be this, right? This will return a string. Okay, let's make this return a string like this. Do we want to make this like fetchable? No, I don't like this. I do like it for can't type. I feel like this is maybe the one thing that we could do something like that. Wait a second. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking like this. Yeah, maybe we do something like this. I don't know. I don't love this as it is. Right now we don't have anything to pass into this, but it would keep all of the structure the same for each of these, right? And then we could jump over here. Actually, we need to jump over into the mod and say pub mod prompt. Then we can jump back over in here and say let system equal prompt what are we prompting? Prompt dot system prompt, and then this would be our request dot instructions, and this would be that, and that would be that, and then we make a mistake, mismatched types. Well, I don't need to dereference that. Maybe we do. What is this? Cannot move out of. Oh, okay. We probably actually just want to take a reference to that, right? And then we'll change the signature of system prompt to be. Oh, should we take a option of a string? One second. What is this? Probably not this. Let me think about what I'm doing there. But that then gets rid of all of this, right? Yeah. Cool. And then the user can be the exact same. And we don't have any inputs right now for that because, yeah. So then I think what we'll just do here is we'll just take a reference to this and we'll just pass the whole move request in. Actually, we don't need a reference, and we'll just take this and we'll go here and we'll just, this is a little gross. What's your problem here? Can't find move. Okay. Here we go. Imported. Done. This does need to return a string, right? Okay. Let's just do this, right? This is all we need right here. And that should fix that. Cool. Not found in scope. Let's JSON. Done. We do need the request. Okay. We are. I don't. How did I make a copy and paste this code without realizing I need the request? I have no idea. Request. Move request and done. And then we just jump back here and put in the request. Done. Okay. That seems good. Now what I was going to do is we can look at this system prompt. And in theory, in the future, this will affect all of them. Respond. Now, this one with only with strict JSON matching is the one that this one will always fail with the move command, right? Wait, what happened? What happened? I think I mistyped the password, and thus it fell back to environment variables. Very interesting. Yep. Okay, cool. And now we did figure you're playing a responds with with only JSON matching the expected schema. Use the game state to make only valid moves. Hey, it's bad at it. It doesn't always make valid moves, but it completed it. To be fair, this isn't a purely... This is a good example because it's a 64 billion parameter model. And I want to understand what the difference is, like the capability difference between these two. Should we play a game of chess? I have to validate that we're not on 5 and we're on 5.1 really quickly. I just put in a lot of defaults in the actual, let's see. Yeah, in here. Yeah, we're on 5.1. Should we watch it play chess? I think so. Llama 4 is going to get wrecked. Llama 4 is going to get wrecked. Llama 4 is going to die. Now, something I'm working on this week very diligently is I'm going to get feedback, because right now it's playing chess. And we can actually see it, but we can't actually get the feedback loop. I'll show you. We actually already started this. So if we go to like... there's already things to start updating the UI. We just don't listen to them right now. We just don't do anything with them right now. Let's see, where is the here's the turn stats, where we add it to the stats and go on. We just need to actually listen to that and like update here, because right now you can't actually see it being played, which is not the most fun. But what we can do, since OpenAI is one of them, you can actually see the progress. So here's the moves that it's making right now. Oh wow, it's already a bunch of moves in. Wait, it's December 6th? Wow. It's made a lot of... Oh, wait. It's right here. So from here to here. It's playing. It's playing. So it moved d5 to e7. This is the current state of the board. I can't read that very well. There we go. Oh wow. Scout made valid moves every single time. That's actually pretty. Oh no. OpenAI made the illegal move. OpenAI with the illegal move. So this was not a conscious decision, whether it ends or not. Tic-tac-toe, I said, wouldn't end if there was an illegal move. The move would get thrown out and they get to try again. Should we implement that for chess as well? I'm not sure. I'm not sure the right move there. One thing that I need to do though is we need to be printing this out the entire time. I don't know if we have like access to a chess board for the UI. That's probably too much for this year. That's probably too much for this year. So we could comment this out. And just let it keep playing on an invalid move. I even give it all the legal moves. So like it can pick from a list of legal moves that it wants to do. Interesting. We could just take this out. Let the game continue on. I don't know. I have to think about that. Should we allow it to go on if they make an invalid move? Like, part of me is like, maybe OpenAI was winning, but because it made an invalid move, it lost. And part of that's just going to be the luck of the draw, right? We could have like a certain number of retries, maybe. I could actually try that to add a certain number of retries in this. Maybe that's what I'll do. I might do that a little bit later. All right, I'm done for right now. That was a good stream. It was a good stream. Good stuff on the security. Thanks for everybody that joined. You know what we'll do before we leave? We'll listen to this. Greatest next hit. All right. Let me find somebody for us to raid.
That's real and bright, where robots don't control our minds at night. They code and they learn, but can't feel a thing. Oh, give me the truth, not the data they bring. With an AI.
Yeah, welcome to the rock concert.
An algorithm here and a profit for show. They turn out the lines, but
I have no idea how loud that is. It's probably pretty loud.
Why trust a machine when it's out of
There we go. Still very loud.
They've got all the answers, but they don't really know. They follow the stats like it's all in the flow. But what about heart? Can they feel it? Oh no! With an
Oh, no problem. Thanks everybody for joining the stream. Do you guys know of somebody to raid? I'm looking through my list really quickly. I'm not seeing somebody that's standing out. You know what? Here's somebody working on the kernel development. Do you know what? You're going to go learn something instead of what you're doing with me. Definitely not learning something today. Never really watched this person. I have them on my list. I don't remember ever watching this person. So, probably fantastic. Probably fantastic. Thanks everybody for joining. And I'll see you next week. Next weekend, part 1 of the AI games. So please join me. I've put in an exorbitant amount of work. Hopefully make these fun. I have some things I'm not telling you about because I try to make them fun. So anyways, I will see you guys for the AI games next week. Go have fun.
I guess time to go home, make a hot citrus. Oh, wait, what? Raid. Thank you so much for the raid, man. Just when we live stream for okay, because you raided, we stay some more. Shout out to, what were you up to? What was the name? Marek? Cons? What were you doing? What kind of things are you usually? We do T2 Linux, and we sent 30 Linux kernel patches upstream the last 12 days, 14 days. And yeah, and taking here the power back of owning stuff and being happy. Owning vintage stuff and be happy with them. 25 years running an all architecture Linux. Not that good. I play around with Rust. Happy to hear. Hope you enjoy this. Do you think projects missing competent leaders? I feel open source, fluffy word of everyone, welcome. I feel many projects, I mean, you see I think even some 20-year-long KDE developer recently, I think many people are really unfriendly. And with many, I don't mean like all, I mean like, I don't know, maybe 30% or 40%, which is already, and those are the loudest, like similar Linux kernel, right? We discussed it here. I sent patches and they answer at times, like some answer really, really rudely, in my opinion, rude, but definitely unfriendly. On Linux kernel, maybe even, maybe 50% or at least 40%, but that's already enough, right? And multiply this with also KDE. The problem is all those loud people. And there are so many people everywhere, not only Linux kernel, but also GNOME and KDE. They think they are the most clever, when in reality they are good, but not the most clever. And they also have some strange preconceptions. And then they shout to everyone so loud that other people are afraid to say something or lose the motivation. Like even Linux kernel, I send stuff